Hello and welcome to another edition of Convict Inc. And I just spent 16 minutes talking and the phone fell and shut off, and here we go again. Anyway, today's April the 14th. Last night, Marta and I did a video together. The video was about me being free for 1 year. Yes, yesterday was my first year of freedom. Been a year since I've been let out of prison. I wasn't feeling the video. In all honesty, I'm going through the worst sleeping pattern that I've had in my life. I'm almost 2 weeks now with not sleeping more than 2 hours a night at a time. And it's just, man, it's just wow. Anyway, I did a lot yesterday. Laid floor, did stuff in the yard, cleaned the, got the side-by-side ready for service and all. Anyway, Marta tried to post this video 3 times, and each time it would take an hour and it still wasn't posted. And finally she says, is this the law of the universe? You know, the universe just trying to tell us not to post this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And I meant that. I really didn't like the video. I wasn't emotionally into it. But I'm ready to talk about this today. So let me go back. In 2018, Donald Trump signed a bipartisan-backed bill called the First Step Act. 2018. Did I say 2018? In the First Step Act, they changed the criteria for compassionate release. No longer was it an issue that was left up to the warden. Under the new compassionate release statutes, inmates can file to the warden first. 30 days later, they can file to the sentencing court if the warden doesn't answer, and they can file their administrative remedies and ask the regional director and then the central office to let you go, based on not only health conditions but rehabilitation, intervening changes in the law. It's still open for interpretation on what we can file compassionate release under. I filed compassionate release based on recurring bladder cancer, a heart condition, COVID, being susceptible to COVID, which was a thing back then, it's not now, and rehabilitation and an intervening change in the law. That is, First Step Act also made mandatory life mandatory 25. No longer is there mandatory life in the feds. Okay, on April the 12th of last year, I was let out for evening chow, which we were eating in the unit, going down to get a tray, getting in an argument with a kid over a phone. And my case manager was telling people to call me downstairs. There was a long line waiting for the case manager. And anyway, people were yelling and shouting at me, and I was arguing with this guy over the phone line. And went downstairs, and my case manager, Mrs. Hall, told me to shut the door. First, I did not want to shut the door. I don't like shutting the door by myself with staff in an office, especially female staff. And that's nothing sexual. It's just being in close contact with female staff is not the best idea all the time. Because weird stuff happens, people say stupid shit. Anyway, Miss Hall called me in, I shut the door, she pushed the button on the phone, and there was my former case manager, and her name is Mrs. Boo. Mrs. Boo then says, Rosso, your sentence has been reduced to 25 years. Now, I didn't really process or could comprehend what that meant at the time. Yes, I'd filed the compassionate release, and it was still pending. But if I was going to get out, I'm looking for the words compassionate release. I wasn't looking for the words reduction in sentence, okay? Even though that's what a rule 3852, I guess, yeah, reduction in sentence. I was a little confused, and when I finally realized what was going on, I literally had to grab the table and sit in the chair because I felt like I was going down. Now, let me back up real quick. When the compassion release statute changed, what I started doing is really researching my judge, reading the opinions he put out there. You get to know a lot about a judge just by reading the opinions off of LexisNexis, Pacer, whatever, different legal directories. And I realized that I had a really hard judge to convince, but there was something in him that was open, and this is a conservative judge now. The judge I'm talking about is Timothy L. Brooks out of the Western District of Arkansas. And before I go any further, and I've said this a couple times in social media or my Facebook, I just want to thank Judge Brooks one more time for giving me a chance, because not too many people got it out of the Western District or Eastern District of Arkansas, and I'm one of the few. And just incredible. Anyway, I knew on April the 12th that I was getting out of prison. When I was told that my sentence had been reduced to 25 years, but they couldn't figure out the time, they'd have to go through it. It was already past 5 o'clock. You know, I knew it was going to be another day. And I was just assuming that they were going to come in and I'd be let out the next day. That's the truth. Called Marta even. That phone call to Marta. I'm pretty sure I said we won. She says I said I won, but whatever. And she screamed. Oh my God. Marta had befriended a couple in Terre Haute, Indiana that owned a taxi cab company. Steve Cooper is one of those people, and his wife Heather. Steve was able on short notice to come pick me up, and if you see the video, my first video on this channel, Steve Cooper is the one that's doing the videoing. Shout out to Steve. He was there. He waited hours. Hey, when they told me that I was going to get released, it was like 10 o'clock. You know, they didn't let me out till close to 4. And one of the reasons is because right before, as I was getting ready to leave, these two kids got into a fight, started beating the hell out of one another, and they locked us down. So I was locked in an empty cell for about 4 hours before I got out, but you know, it didn't matter. Got out of prison, Steve was there, that video was shot, that you guys can all see, and went to have a pizza at an authentic little Italian pizza restaurant, real thin crust pizza. It was awesome. Steve brought me to my first Walmart Supercenter, and I didn't have a panic attack, and yes, that's a thing. I've had them since. I'm having them sometimes now when I go to stores, but I didn't have it that particular day. And I remember just how overwhelming. There's so much more products on the shelves than there was 24 years ago. There was a lot of stuff back then, don't get me wrong, but like all the different kinds of cereals was just boom, like head exploding. Everything. And the lights, the LED lights or whatever they're called, the lights changed since I've been away. So those lights, somebody brought that to my attention, but that's really what was going on. I'm not used to those lights in these stores. A friend of mine by the name of Brent hooked me up on a hotel the first night. Steve dropped me off there. I remember going to the store and trying to use a debit card. When I got out of prison, I had money on my prison account. They then give you a debit card to use. I've never used a debit card. I had like a card for an ATM machine when I was a kid that I had a bank account when I had a job, but I ended up using that ATM machine to smoke crack or something. And, you know, I had a checking account, but my ex-wife wrote the checks. I maybe wrote a few in my life. Not really well. The computer technology never had been on the internet ever until I got my iPhone, which was like a day or two later. Remember going to U.S. probation for the first time and peeing in a cup. When I went to go flush the toilet, there was no handle and it was all electronic. And my probation officer, who's late 20s, early 30s, you know, he's grown up in tech. He was tripping because I didn't know how to wash my hands. I didn't know how to dry my hands because of all the automation. The toilets they'll flush on their own. Water turns on by itself. Towels come out. It was crazy. Really fortunate to have a friend like Brent in my life and the family that I do still. Little speed bump coming home. Was told not to go home for a couple days. That's a kind of a sore subject, but it was okay once I got there. Went home to my mom and dad, who were elderly, and my dad was, you know, I knew didn't have a whole lot much time to live. My dad had his whole life planned on retiring to the farm that he died on, but he'd sold that farm to my sister some years prior for financial reasons. And when I came home, it was a farm that was my sister and brother-in-laws who've done a great job, but it wasn't my mom and dad's. Little strange, little hardships there. My dad made it worse by every day at breakfast telling me how sorry he was that he didn't believe I was getting out, that he would have gave me the farm, and it just made it really uncomfortable around my sister. Just made me uncomfortable that he kept saying that, because to tell you the truth, I didn't give a damn about the farm. Still don't to this day. I'm free, so nothing else matters, right? So what happened over that deal and the will and all that, that was all stuff. But it was taxing because my dad was just so, he'd say it in front of my sister who bought the farm. It was just uncomfortable. Anyway, family, sister and brother-in-law gave me some property. That's not a little thing at all. And I'm very grateful for it to this day. I was able to take that property, that was family property that they bought in for my parents, but nevertheless, they gave it to me outright. And I was able to take that property and use it as a down for a house, to buy a house of my own and have a rental house. So, you know, a lot of people coming out of the joint are never going to get something like that. And even though it's a small town, it's put me on the map, you know, as far as it set me up. Well, it's mine to make or break. We'll see. A lot of great things happened. Then I've got the whole Marta situation. You know, she didn't come for 4 months. Immigration reasons, financial reasons. That was hard. But during that time, what I tried to do is just keep myself busy. So I was able to buy a house that had a bunch of old houses too, and I tore down 2 houses that were built in 1910. Kept the wood, kept myself busy. But I drank, okay? So I'm gonna get into that. So what I'm saying is this. My terms and conditions don't allow me to do drugs. I gotta do drug testing, I gotta grow to this and that. But I was not prohibited from drinking alcohol. Early on, my probation officer was concerned because I peed in a bottle and alcohol came up twice. And, you know, really, this wasn't me drinking and getting drunk at that point when it tested. I mean, it could literally been a couple beers. And I've been able to do that. I'm an addict. Don't get it twisted. I'm not, don't get it twisted. I have had problems with alcohol seriously once in my life that I can recall. And that was after I got busted. The first time in Arkansas, there was a period. I hope this isn't this dark. Anyway, but so, and the alcohol has not really been like this thing in my life. It hasn't been like a trigger that made me want to go do cocaine or do drugs, or it's not. However, I'll get there. My dad and mom moved to the out of the big house up at the farm to what's called the gatehouse, a different house on that property. I think it was best for them to move where they did. And my dad started going downhill kind of fast after that. And watching that was hard. I still, to this day, I can never remember the name of the disease he had. If you really want to know, you can look up the actor Dudley Moore and what had happened to him. My dad had the same exact disease. It's horrible. I don't wish it on anybody, and I believe in assisted suicide after watching my dad go through that. And I'm dead serious. Nobody should have to go through that if they don't want to, or family. Man, it's a lot. Marta came August 13th. Went to Hot Springs for a couple days, 2-3 days for a so-called honeymoon. Brought her home. She was really excited about the house at first, and loved living in a small town for a while. Things got really complicated, more so in our lives. Well, first of all, we're opposites on a lot of things that we didn't realize. We were pen pals since August of 2010. We've been in a relationship since 2013, got married 2017, talked daily, email communications, long letters, but living together, we've got a big age difference. We've got lots of differences, okay? I know that she has been disappointed time and time again on things that she didn't expect. However, as she would say, nothing has surprised her or been shocking to the point of, can't do this but I have been unstable on a lot of stuff at times. I can't get stuff together a lot. But got my freedom, and that's the most thing that matters. Now I'll go into more details. So after my dad died, there was and still is a lot of things that's happened inside of me that I never ever saw coming. I never blame people for the situation. I've never been a person that said my parents are the reasons I did drugs. My this and this. It was my sisters that gave me drugs at an early age. All of them, by the way. I want to make that clear. Not one, not two, not three. All of them. I want to make sure. But I never blame them, and I still don't blame them for getting me high, getting me involved in drug dealers. All of them. So anyway. But I started getting really bitter, and I started seeing a different side of my life as my childhood. Things became a lot more clear to me, and I started getting resentful towards my dad. Probably still not over it, but I got to get there. Didn't go to his funeral. And then other things started happening within my family. I'm not happy to say right now that I don't communicate with my oldest daughter, grandchildren, and I'm fine with that right now. And I am. That also hurts me to even say that. In the grandchildren, I mean my oldest daughter's kids, not my other one. I don't talk to my mom. That hurts a lot. And I got two sisters that I can't talk to right now for personal reasons that Marta even agrees with. And that's just got to cut stuff out if it's bothering you or hurting you in any kind of way, and that's kind of where I'm at. So family relationships are really complicated. And this is a sister and brother-in-law that really helped me too, so I don't ever want them to think that I don't appreciate that. I do. It's just there's other reasons. I haven't been the person that I've wanted to be. Indecisive constantly, I feel like. I do feel like I was doing a lot better in the beginning of my freedom than in the last months. However, don't read too much into that. I mean, this all really started when my old man died. I kind of clicked, but I have my reasons. Marta has just been a godsend to me. I don't know what I would do without her. I mean, I'm sure I would survive because I'm a survivor, but just magnificent, especially with issues of late when I think that she would be more in a flight. She's just more solid than ever. Just my backbone 100%, and that kind of pains me to say that. I'm losing my backbone. But I mean, look, let me tell you something else too. So, alcohol, I think if my probation officer would have went to court and made it a condition that I couldn't drink, it would have been terrible. I think that little freedom, like, oh, when all else fails, I can take a drink. And listen, I know some people out there will be going, oh, all the warning bells are going off. But this is what I'm saying. I have drank. I've taken a fifth of, I've drank a fifth of Jack, Honey Jack, and it's not even like, you couldn't even tell I drank. So I can drink. This is when my dad was dying for about 10 days, I went on one. I'm not gonna lie. Other times I open a beer and it goes warm and I don't drink it at all. But that's relapsing. I've relapsed. And as a result, I've been wondering why I don't have normal human emotions. What are feelings? I don't have the joy that I think other people do when you're happy. Of course, sadness can come to me quick. I can get emotional and draw tears pretty quick. But, for example, last night, Marta made me a cake and had a surprise for my freedom. And it was awesome, but the feeling of joy doesn't come to me. And I said this to one of the supervising probation department guys that I had a long conversation with recently. I was supposed to die in federal prison. Now, if you had to ask me, I would say 20 of those near 24 years that I did, I believed I was going to get out. I do. About 20 years of those, I believed I was going to get out. Especially after the Obama administration. And I study criminal justice reform now. I've studied criminal justice issues, so I know there's a pendulum that swings, and it goes from getting tough on crime to reform. We're in the air. We're heading more and more towards the reform-minded. Whatever that means, whatever. I just lost my train of thought. So I knew I was going to get out, but getting out has done something to me too. When you've got life without, when you're supposed to die in prison, when you're told you're dead, this is it. Judge gave me a big speech about sentencing me to life and thought it was unfortunate. Nevertheless, it was his job, and but I lost all my appeals. I was dead and stinking. When you get out after something like that, it's like I almost felt it's like my pinnacle of success. Like nothing else can be that good in my life. You guys have heard me on this YouTube show, people have threatened me, or in the comment section. And when I say that, like I've been doxxed, but if it wasn't for like Marta for sure, just like saying don't do it, people know where we live. I would like put my address and say, hey, come on over and, I'll leave the front door open. I'm not, if somebody come and shot me in the head, I'd be good. Like I'm good if I'm gone tomorrow. Really, that's true. And that's not right. I know it's not right. So that's an issue, right? If I'm cool about dying tomorrow because the best has already come, then it's like, what else do you live for? Especially somebody who's used to so many highs and lows in life. Being a drug dealer, being a drug addict, you're used to those rushes. And I'm going to tell you something. As a gambler, I got off more on losing than winning. I had more emotion in losing, the stress of losing. What am I going to do now? And then figuring it out. There's what got me off. And now I'm flat on a lot of things in life. And like I said, and I've got this like godsend of a girl. And I'm not even a spiritual person anymore. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying that I can't be or won't be, or I have to come to some kind of term with that at some point. But as far as winning the lottery right now, I've hit the lottery. Technology has been just a killer to me, caused me anxiety. I'm getting better. I can't stay on track. If I tell you guys I'm going to do a video about this tomorrow, something else happens. So planning and sticking to a schedule and all that stuff, I'm still all chaotic. Now, and this is what I think I've realized more. I've mentioned it in a couple videos. Marta, if she sees a beer, put a beer in my lip, in her mind, I got a needle in my arm, because she's sober. We're from two different worlds too. She doesn't understand sobriety. She doesn't understand any of it. How a person can use, how a person can get drunk, like anything. So My probation officer, who said alcohol, he was always concerned because it could lead to bad decision making. That's his exact words. And Marta's concerns, I've said that I needed to stop drinking for, like them, but no, I really need to stop for me. And that's just the comfort factor. Let me tell you something. I've been stressed like on something like, oh, okay, and then I'm gonna grab a beer and go get a beer. We don't keep alcohol in the house. Go buy a beer, and then which is miles away, by the way. I'm in a dry county. And pop one open and take one sip, and I'm calm. And Marta's like, she realized that, like, that's not you. It's mental. You're not. It's like you don't even need. You're not even letting the alcohol take effect to calm you down. You opening and tasting it is the calming effect. That's where it's coming from. It's more psychological, and that's true. I keep saying a lot in this video too. Damn, I hate these videos when I do this. But I'm trying to think and process my way through it. I think that even drinking at all or having that there has not let me grow into who I am, or who I'm going to be in this new free world, because I'm used to incarceration. So I've been saying I'm going to get on the ball about that, and it's just, like I said, if they would have put me on alcohol restriction before, I think I would have violated like already. And I don't mean on alcohol, because it would be like, we've taken everything. No, you bad addict, you. We're going to even take away any kind of buzz from you. You live it all on yourself. All these pressures, you do it by yourself. I really think I would have. I think I would have been downhill lane. I do. I also do not want to live my life and at the end of it just find out that I'm nothing but fucking Mr. Bojangles. If nobody knows what that means, listen to the song. Somebody who harps on a dog that died 20 years ago, living in the past, that is. Somebody who's spent his life behind county bars because he likes alcohol. Just alcohol. Just petty, just being in jail for just not living your life because of alcohol. And at the end of it, not even making any money dancing at fairs. He's dancing to drink. Oof, Bojangles. I mean, what am I going to do? Just be telling prison stories to fucking have a drink? Excuse my language. But I don't look. Let me say this. I didn't mean to make this all about alcohol. I just came from a recovery session, and this just brought it all into perspective and concept. In perspective for me. And I was just thinking about the fact that I have not grown into who I am as a free person. And that's just even the thought of just being able to go open a beer and taste it, or down a fifth if that's what it took to cure the pain when my dad's dying. Yeah. So, your freedom, the longest I've been free since I was 22 years old. Never made it a year. Never made it past 11 months. And damn near had a bump in the road not long ago. Probation, but it's all good. It's all good. Really, I got a great deal. The whole department's actually really good. So, your freedom, lots of complex issues. Lots of hurt and pain, I'm not gonna lie. Still hurting right now over family issues. But so freaking great to be free and process and go through the process of doing this and making little memories. Me and Marta in the mountains. Oof. Going up in those mountains like I've dreamed about all these years is just unbelievable. She's given me that honor. She's allowed that to happen. Awesome wife. Oof. Wow. So, that's what it's been like for the year for me. That's just putting it all out there, It is what it is. I do have a lot of disorder in my life still. Yards full of old wood that needs to be stacked, nails pulled. Remodeling still not done. Real estate land lots of. Then comes the mowing season, and then I've got this YouTube channel that we've been doing a lot more with as far as learning it, because we have not, and you'll see more professionalism coming in the near future. You will. I thank everybody for sticking around and supporting me. Help make some more dreams come true. This is where I'm going. I'm going to be doing talk. I'm going to get better at it and stop with all these ums at some point. I know I keep saying it, but we'll get there. We'll get there at some point. I'm almost home. I'm trying to think if I should have Marta say anything, because she wanted to be a part of yesterday's video big time. And she interviewed me. She actually did a pretty good job. I just emotionally was not there. I think I'll go ahead and stop it now and post this. Thank you guys for watching. Your freedom. Thank you, Judge Brooks. Appreciate it. I'm a lucky person. So many guys in prison stuck with the same sentence I had that don't have the opportunity to go through all this craziness that I'm going through, or to feel all this sadness and happiness and confusion. And no matter what, I'm free. So many of my friends aren't. So many guys that aren't even my friends left behind. I think that's terrible too. Hopefully something will change. Hopefully get more people that'll give guys more chances, and hopefully guys like me won't blow our chances. It won't be me going back to prison for committing crimes. But will I go back because I am Bojangles at some point in my life? I guess we'll figure that out. Take care. Thanks for watching. Now I gotta go get Marta's side-by-side fixed that I broke. Peace out.